You're probably wondering, why on earth do I have a picture of Ra Ali up? And honestly, that's the only picture I got. I ain't even attempt to try to do nothing else or find no other slides, nothing. You're just gonna be looking at Ra Ali for about 15 minutes, so get used to it, okay? Um, the reason why I put Ra Ali up here is because there is some YouTube beef brewing, and it's been brewing for the last couple of days. And it is basically centered around Ra and none other than Tasha K. Tasha K seems to always be involved in some bullshit, like all the time. But when I've been kind of just observing this stuff all day, basically since Friday night, after Fuckery Friday. And yes, I watch Tasha K. So for anybody that come on here and say, if you don't like the way she does things, why do you even tune in? Why do you like it? Because fuck you, that's why. Okay. Yep, I said it. So Tasha K basically dragged Ra Ali the other night on Fuckery Friday. She basically dragged her for she's saying that she's not original. She doesn't have any of her own stories. She steals content. And she also threatened to expose Ra. And the fact that Nikki doesn't mess with Ra Ali anymore. And she's going to tell it all. She's going to expose it. So when that hit the internet a couple of nights ago, again, Fuckery Friday. So it hit the internet on Friday night. Yesterday, Millie from my radio went on to talk about it and pretty much show receipts for Ra Ali and Tasha K. Basically, Tasha K had at one point, I guess, been approached about being a contributor to Ra Ali's vlog on site, her on-site vlog. It's like a video. I don't know if you guys ever seen her. It's like a YouTube show where she basically talks about, the latest trending topics, and she may have a few people on. At one point, I believe Tasha K was supposed to be a contributor. It fell through. Tasha K didn't do it or something like that. And Ra Ali brought on Millie, which I think has been a great fit for Millie. If you don't know who Millie is from Mob Radio. And I think it's been a great fit. I like Millie. So anyway, Millie goes on to show that at one point there was some kind of conversation with Ra and Tasha in which Tasha was actually praising the show. Now, on Friday night, Tasha drags the show and says that Ra Ali is incapable of reading. She's basically calling her illiterate, and saying that she steals stories, and she's going to expose her. So today, Tasha drops a video in which she basically explains why Nicki Minaj and Ra Ali are no longer friends. She alleges all of this. Of course, this is all allegedly because Tasha K ain't brought not one receipt out. We didn't see not one receipt. She says that Ra Ali was behind the scenes brokering deals, trying to broker deals off of the strength of Nicki Minaj's name without Nicki's consent. She also says that she was, at one time, Brooke Bailey and Ra Ali had this show on site. It wasn't a very good show, by the way. I didn't like it, but she's basically saying that Ra Ali stole from Brooke Bailey. She's alleging all of this. Again, not one receipt to be had, but she's saying all of this. And so she exposed all of this. Now, it's important to note this. It's important to note that even though a lot of us have been curious about what went on between Ra and Nicki, because at one point they were very tight. You might recall Nicki Minaj, that Ra Ali was the one that gave Cardi B the knot on her head, right? So if you don't, I personally, I'm like, if I don't like Ra Ali for nothing else, she gave Cardi B a knot that Cardi B will never forget, right? But things kind of quieted down between Ra and Nicki after that. But I believe the two women, including actually three women, Brooke, Nikki, and Ra, kept it very classy. Whereas no matter what happened between them, whatever it is, even if everything that Tasha alleges is true, what I can respect about Brooke, Ra, and Nikki is that nobody has said anything. It has not been publicly talked about, because even if you watch Ra Ali's show, her YouTube channel, she has not spoken negatively ever on Nikki. She has not said anything negative. She has not spoken of her negatively. Brooke has said nothing at all. She has been quiet. Nikki has said nothing. Now, Nikki and Tasha supposedly have some kind of alliance, right? I think that this was happened months ago when I guess Tasha said something or took up or defended Nikki's husband, Kenneth Petty. And they have been kind of talking behind the scenes. Tasha was supposed to go on Queen Radio. She never did. And Tasha she's been kind of like teasing this whole fact as she knows that Ra Ali or Nicki Minaj doesn't mess with Ra Ali, right? She's been kind of like dangling that that carrot for a minute. And I'm surprised that Nikki hasn't cut her off a long time ago. I'm shocked. But I am telling Nicki Minaj right now, if she don't listen to nothing else that nobody else out here say, Nikki, you would be wise to cut your ties with Tasha. Tasha is a friend to no one. And Tasha is the kind of person, and she's proven that she's the kind of person that when she gets upset, when she falls out with any of these people, she exposes their business. She puts their business out there. I mean, I cannot begin to recall all the times that we've heard when her and Daytime Tea Time fell out, her and Lovely T fell out, and she was alleging that Lovely T was, it's just like the kind of stuff that she was putting out about people. When her and Armand fell out, it's like, it's always the common denominator. All these people keep falling out with Tasha. And I'm not saying that all of this is Tasha's fault, because I don't necessarily believe that to necessarily be true at all. But she seems to definitely be the common denominator. And you have to watch people, anybody in your life, who the minute that they fall out with somebody, they go and run and tell that person's business. It's okay. Sometimes things don't work out. You don't see eye to eye. You decide to end a friendship. Some things are just seasons, right? They're seasonal. But you got to be mindful of people that when they leave, they burn the damn bridge behind them and they just blow up the spot. And so anything that you've ever told them, anything that you've ever confided in them, they throw it back at you. Tasha is that person. So I'm surprised that Nikki would align herself with anybody who would do that. Because case in point, Nikki has said nothing about what happened between her and Ra Ali. Even if, like I said, even if all of this is true, what Tasha has alleged, because she ain't came with no receipts. She rarely does. But even if all of this is true, why would Tasha go out of her way to say it? That's what bothers me the most. It's not like we don't know that Tasha does a lot of exposing, right? She goes the extra mile. A lot of us on YouTube, we just commentate on what's out there. Tasha does, she does this whole exposing thing where she exposes people's business and rarely brings receipts to go with it, right? So like the whole thing with Future. She was disappointed that people just didn't take to her Future story because the tea was weak. The wine was weak. It just didn't, Future allegedly had some kind of sexual assault thing going over in the UK, and he allegedly gave somebody an STI. All alleged, right? And Tasha's receipts were weak. And she just didn't like the fact that people didn't take to that information, right? She put the thing out with Maddie. And, and Maddie talking about Armand, which didn't go her way, by the way. Maddie flipped it on her. Maddie didn't talk negatively about Armand. Matter of fact, Armand and Maddie have talked since then, and they have patched up their situations, and they're okay. So it didn't work in the way that Tasha thought it was going to work out. And mark my words, I'm calling it right now. Maddie is going to be the next one that Tasha K falls out with. You wait and see. You come back to this video and you be like, you know what? You were right. Maddie and Tasha K, no, they ain't talking no more. I told you. It just never fails. It's always something. Hell, the only reason I think her and Storm are still cool is because Storm is probably under contract with Tasha. Because I honestly can't, for the life of me, understand why he's still... that's a whole nother story. I'll come back to that another time. But Nikki need to be careful. Nikki need to really be mindful about aligning herself with somebody that exposes people the way Tasha does. I cannot rock with that. It's like I said, I think that Brooke, Nikki, and Ra Ali have kept it very classy here. They kept it very classy. Like, even if all of the stuff is true about why they're no longer speaking, if Ra did any of that, and any of it is true, all three ladies have decided to be quiet. And now Tasha is putting it out there, which now puts it at the feet of Nicki Minaj, because where would she have gotten that information from? Where would she have heard it from? Brooke ain't talking. So who does it fall onto? It falls onto Nikki, and now it makes Nikki look bad, in my opinion. It makes Nikki look bad on that. Because even if Rod did that, everybody's been quiet about it. And so, Nikki, why would you want to align yourself with somebody that would use you to get back at somebody? She would use what you may have told her to get back at somebody. And furthermore, it's funny to me how Tasha K has repeatedly come after certain black female bloggers, but she has yet to respond to Jason Lee, who have basically did an entire video calling her problematic. And yet she has not responded to Jason Lee, but she came at Neek. She came at Ra. Her and Millie are kind of going, Millie from My Radio are kind of, I see this really definitely, I see Millie definitely blowing up the spot tomorrow. Because if you don't know My Radio, if you don't know Millie, Millie comes with the receipts. All right. You may not necessarily agree with everything she say. I love her because she's a Scorpio, but you may not necessarily rock with everything she say. But one thing you can never say about Millie is that she don't come with the receipts. She will back up whatever she says. And yesterday, she backed up the fact that Tasha had at one point was praising Ra Ali's on-site show. Just not that long ago. Just a couple months back. And now it's dragging her for stealing stories. And now she wants to expose Ra Ali for why her and Nikki aren't cool anymore. And like I said, you got to be real mindful about people with that spirit of exposing people. You got to be real mindful about people like that, because the minute they get mad at you, the minute they get upset with you, they expose it. And I just don't know. I don't know. Tasha used to be one of my favorite YouTubers. She really was. And she has just, she's just a very dark person now. She just comes from a very dark place. And I don't know if it's driven by by power, by ego, by money. I don't know what it is. But even, I don't know. I just know that this isn't over. And it's going to be interesting if Ra even responds to her. The best thing to do probably is to say nothing, which Ra Ali has done that as far as her and Nikki and Brooke. But Nikki, you would be wise to just separate yourself from this woman. Separate yourself from Tasha, because wait until you piss her off. She's going to do it to you too. You've got to separate yourself from Tasha K, because it is not going to get pretty. And I'm calling it now, y'all. I'm calling it. So remember where you heard it. I'm out of here. I'll see you guys on the next video. Take care.